Hi, welcome to Where Are They Now? I am your host, Heather Lindstedt from the Chelmsford High class of 1985. Today I am so delighted to have Elizabeth Sexauer with us from the class of 2001. Elizabeth, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I know that you have a hectic world that you work in, but we'll get to that. Okay. But thank you for being here. So your career was going to start right in high school? Did you already know what you were going to happen to do when you were in high school?
Oh yeah, I knew in third grade what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Yes. My teacher, Mrs. Deneen, she was a big part of my vision, and I loved my experience in third grade, and I knew, you know, I would go home after school and I would teach my stuffed animals what I learned that day, and I had a rank book, and I would make them homework, and it's just everything I did in the classroom I would do at home with my stuffed animals.
But your last name is synonymous with, you know, teaching, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So is that also did that kind of play a part before you even get to the high school?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just being among teachers. My mom taught art in the system. My dad taught music. My brother teaches music in the system now. My cousins, my aunt, my sister-in-law, everybody. So yeah, I've always been around that, and I always got to help my mom in her art room. I would see my dad teaching, and it's just a comfort for me. So definitely when I was in high school, I continued to have that vision. And
so you knew a lot about Chelmsford High School, even though the transition for everybody is different, right? It doesn't matter if you've been there before or somebody taught there, those kind of things. So how was your transition, and how did you feel like what you needed to do as a freshman to make your way into the high school?
Well, I was definitely ready for high school. I was excited about that. And so I started with cross country my freshman year. And I quickly learned that my body is not made for running. So just the shin splints, I think I spent a lot of time icing my shins while everybody else was running. But then sophomore year, I was manager of the team. And then after that, I saw my friends doing theater. So that was what I jumped into for the rest of my high school career.
So the theater, was that as a freshman, or was that as a sophomore, or was it just anything other than running? As a freshman.
Yeah, I remember running as a freshman, and I enjoyed art classes. And then sophomore year is when I started theater, and I just continued that through
the path.
Year. That's right. Yeah.
So what was the best show you ever did?
Oh my gosh, Noises Off.
Okay.
Yes, Noises Off. So that was my senior year, and I was Dottie Otley, Mrs. Clackett, and so I just got to have this crazy Cockney accent, and it's just, you know, a bunch of drunken doors slamming and sardines everywhere. It's a great show. So that was my favorite memory.
But we've had some great teachers and those kind of things. So through the theater, though, tell me how, like, it had to be Mr. Rondina and Miss Corcoran. How did they influence you through the whole pathway? Oh,
well, I was quite shy and unsure of myself, and I saw my friends doing these things, and I really wanted to sing. And I just remember Mr. Rondina was just very welcoming, and he knew I was nervous about things, but he was very kind when I auditioned for vocal jazz ensemble and treble choir, so I got to be in those groups, and that was so much fun. And then Mrs. Cochran, she just pulled everything out of me, and I was able to, again, gain more confidence and just enjoy the experiences.
Yeah. And you mentioned, though, the art, though, too. So you're kind of staying in that path. I mean, your mom, right? And so how did the art play into it? Was it just in art classes that you had so much fun, or felt the confidence of what you were doing? Because I know you still do it, right?
I do, yeah. I enjoy watercolor painting now. That's kind of my thing, my little hobby now. But I remember I had Mrs. Brown and Mrs. Gagnon in high school, and I loved making a bust from my favorite Disney character, Maleficent. I made a clay bust of my dog, Toby, a Monet water lily painting. And I just remember, again, they just kind of let me go with it, and I wasn't afraid to make mistakes, and they would help me where I needed help. And I just kind of took those experiences, and then I had those finished products that are still, at my parents' house, and I look at that and say, yeah, I did that. That's a lot of fun. And so I now use that as a hobby, and I implement that in my kindergarten classroom as well.
And did you ever feel like that you thought, wow, like in the theater or with your artwork, like, oh, I'm here? And did you ever feel that nudge from them to be like, no, you're not done. You need to take another step?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they saw in me a passion that I was able to see from their eyes. And I remember I was able to go to the South Row School for a shadow program. And so I was with Lori Lynch, now Lori McDermott, and I got to go to her second grade classroom each day, my senior year. And so that was another push to get out and follow my vision of becoming a teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just, those are just high school teachers saying like, hey, you know what? There's more to you. You're going to find your way.
Right.
So successful high school career, you would call that. And then you were like, okay, I've got to go off to college, and you headed off to UMass.
Yep. UMass Amherst.
And you knew still, third grade teacher, I'm going to be teaching third grade.
Oh, yeah. I remember Mrs. Deneen, when she retired, she gave me a necklace that she wore every day on art day, and it's a necklace with real colored pencils on it. And I remember loving that necklace when I was in third grade, and I couldn't believe she gave it to me when she retired. So one day I was actually subbing in her class, and I subbed for her, and I wore the necklace, and I stood right in the spot where I won the spelling bee, spelling supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Can you spell that now?
I can.
Go.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Phew. Hey, you always have to be challenged, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. So at UMass Amherst, what kind of experiences did you have there? And when you're going through those classes, and you're thinking, I'm getting there, like, what is that like?
Well, yeah, UMass Amherst, that was so different for me than high school. And I think it took me a bit longer to find my way through there. I started off playing rugby, and
not as much running as cross country.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
not as
okay.
much.
Yeah.
But definitely nerve-wracking to be in the front of the scrum. So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, we've tried this, and I think I'm gonna back away from this now.
Yeah.
And then I was able to spend more time with teaching, going to different, more shadow programs and doing that. So, that was just building on my experiences.
So while you were there, you're taking the classes. No class ever made you think to change your mind about your chosen profession?
No.
I mean, a lot of people go off to college and are like, I have no idea. I know I'm going to get my degree, but what I'm going to get.
Yeah. So
there was never a class or anything. There was never fear that this wasn't the path that you were going to take.
No. I always knew. And it's interesting because I always thought, well, I'm going to teach third grade. That's what I'm going to do. And I didn't realize at the time that, well, not necessarily. You kind of have to interview for what's available. So I was able to do student teaching in third grade. And then I was a classroom tutor in Concord for a while. But then my first real gig, I would call it, was second grade at South Row. Yeah.
But now, still though, you finding yourself at UMass, right? Didn't you went abroad?
I did, yeah.
And what do you think that did for you and your personality or your confidence or what?
Yeah.
Moving away from family.
Yeah, I keep bringing up the confidence thing like you just said. And I went my junior year, and there was just something in me that just said, yep, time to go. time to get out of here, try something new all by myself.
Right.
And so I went last minute to sign up for the study abroad program.
Yeah.
And when I went to the office there, they said, well, there's only one place left. And I said, fine, sign me up. I don't even know what it is, but I'll go.
Yeah.
So that was University of East Anglia in England. And oh my gosh, that was like the best choice I could have made.
Do you think that was eye-opening and really the confidence to be a little bit more outgoing?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, I did everything myself, and I mean, I know my mom could hardly keep it together when I was leaving to get on the plane, but she knew that I needed this, and so that's what I did. I took my English courses there, and I met some of my best friends that are still my best friends now. They were in my wedding.
Do they live in England, or?
Yeah. Yep.
So
And
do
they
you
flew
go?
over.
Do you go back and forth or no?
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Really?
We go back and forth. So not so much since we've all had kids now,
Right.
but we're still in touch. And my gosh, I've been over probably 5 times. And then my 2 best friends, they've been over a handful of times. Yeah, we have a summer place in Maine. And so we'll just go spend time on the dock. And it's just, I just got goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing connection. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I have that connection. I went over to Australia, but anyways,
Oh,
I
wow.
won't digress. But
That's pretty cool. Spiders?
But I don't care.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
I've never been afraid. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But so you get back, you're a senior, then you must have been doing your student teaching, and then like you said, then you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you go into student teaching because you did end up going to get your master's? So how did that play into it?
Well, I graduated UMass, and then I took a year off. A lot of my classmates went right into their master's program, but I needed to give my brain a rest. So that's when I became a classroom tutor, and then after that year, that's when I got my master's and started my student teaching.
And you went to Leslie.
I went to Leslie. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And did you stay and live in Boston in that area, or?
I was living in Medford
Okay.
with a friend I knew since I was 6.
Really?
Yeah, that was cool. That was another reason. Just let's get out of the house. Let's leave mom and dad and go live together.
Correct.
So did that, and we were there for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And just continued.
And still the whole time never wavered.
Oh no.
Now, did you waver to because you like teaching theater or teaching art or anything like that, or was it always going to be into a classroom setting and teaching multiple things? Because obviously
Yes.
you always thought that you were going to be with elementary.
That's
right.
Yeah. No, definitely it was the vision of elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
And I taught 4th grade for quite a while, and then I would see the kindergartners, going through our classroom for the Halloween parade. And I don't know, every time I would walk by the kindergarten classrooms, I thought, what's going on in there? So I asked to go observe one time during my lunch break. And I thought, okay, I gotta try this. So then I had to study to get certified. So I got that license, and then I interviewed for it, and then I became a kindergarten teacher, which I never thought I would do.
But how long were you with? You never did 3rd grade, or you did 3rd grade?
I did 3rd grade for about a year as a long-term maternity sub.
Okay.
So it's so interesting that I always thought I would be in 3rd grade.
Correct,
but,
yeah.
But it was mostly 4th grade
At Byam?
at Harrington and Byam.
Harrington and Byam, yep.
Yep. And then down to kindergarten, which I never thought.
Did you feel lucky to get into Chelmsford, and it was just timing that you got in, or how did that all work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was so wonderful to come back, to where I grew up. And I did. I got an opportunity to be a long-term sub in South Row. And I remember Irene Hannigan, the principal there, she's the one who opened that door for me. Because, getting that first gig, it's hard because you don't have any experience. So she gave me that chance. Goosebumps again. So it was just, I was teaching with teachers that I had. And
So was that easy to be able to ask questions and get the help and guidance, knowing the people too?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, they just took me under their wings, and they taught me. They were so patient, and that it made me feel more of the teacher that I've always imagined I would be.
Right.
So I'm really grateful for those teachers at South Row.
So it had to have been a huge comfort level that you're in a school that you knew.
Oh yeah.
You knew people around you, and to be able to just, ask those kind of questions of what am I doing?
Oh yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. I mean, that's one thing I'm proud of, and I like to teach my kindergartners now is that I make mistakes all the time. And in fact, one thing that I like to do is my class does a silent cheer when I make a mistake. And so
what is a silent cheer?
Well, a silent cheer is, if I read something incorrectly or I forget to do something I should be doing, I say, oh, Miss Sexauer made a mistake, and then we go. And it's just, it's real quick, and they do it right away. They know exactly what to do. And
now, you admit to your mistake, but have they ever caught you in a mistake?
Yes, they have.
They have?
Absolutely.
And so do they give them each other a nudge and say it's silent chair time?
Yeah.
How does that work?
If they just say, oh, Miss Sexauer, that's not right. You made a mistake. And I said, oh, I did. You're right. And then we just go into the silent chair. Yeah. And I love that because I think it's so important to teach these young children that we all make mistakes and we learn from them. Right. So, and I think that helps my students to feel more comfortable and willing to try new things because it's okay to make mistakes.
So, have you found a student or two that you think that you've influenced to be, well, you can't say kindergarten because that would be too young, but was there a fourth grader or anybody that you influenced or second grade that you think said, because of Miss Sexauer, I'm going to be a teacher?
Absolutely, and I have heard my kindergarten students say that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They're that smart nowadays?
Yeah.
Are you making them too smart?
Yeah, there's this one little girl that I had last year, and her mom told me that she said, I want to be a teacher just like Miss Sexauer.
Really?
I'm like, you can't ask for anything more, right? So, yeah.
So what are the things that are the big differences, and it sounds so funny, but what you loved about teaching fourth graders, but then what you love, what's the bigger difference down to the kindergarten?
Yeah, I know. Well, I love being able to have really fruitful conversations with the fourth graders and read certain stories with them, and even the type of humor you can have with them. But then with the kindergartners, it's so cool to just teach them the basics. And one of the coolest things is when you see that light bulb go off when they learn to read. Mm-hmm. And I have to be honest, I never thought I would know how to teach someone how to read because, in fourth grade, they already know how to read.
Right.
But now that, I've done it, it's incredible. And so it's those little things that are really big things.
Right. So how do you judge that, though, in the learning? Like, how do you say, I'm having a successful day, or I'm I had a successful year? How do you judge yourself in that?
Well, I think, first of all, I remember one kiddo today, we came back from specialists and we sat down to get going on our work, and he said, school is fun. And so I think that's one thing. You've got to be having fun. You have to have a positive feeling about it. So that's one way that I measure success, is the overall mood and our comfort level in the classroom. And then I love to just lay out the work when I have conferences with parents, just to see the September work versus what you're seeing in the spring. It's like magic. Yeah, so that's really cool.
So teachers get a little bit of a bad rap during the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
What out of COVID made you a better teacher, and how hard was it, truthfully, to say, this is my profession and I am going to make it fun for these kids? Mm-hmm. How hard was that?
Well, luckily I have small children, and I had fun headbands to wear and finger puppets. I remember I got all those things out. And first of all...
Now, through COVID, and I'm sorry, was it kindergarten or was it?
It was kindergarten, yes.
Okay.
So I was first I'm very good at realizing what I need help with. So I was able to reach out to my teammates and say, I don't understand this technology. Can we meet on a Zoom? And can you teach me how to do this? So again, just everyone I've worked with in Chelmsford, they've just been so kind and patient. So that was helpful. And then just keeping things interesting. And I remember I read an Eric Carle story. I taped myself doing it, and I put face paint on because I wanted to make myself look like the clumsy click beetle. So just kind of pulling on those, theater moments and art moments.
Yep.
So
you do think you you pull for some of the things that you did in high school though, too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the COVID thing though, like what you said, do you think that students though, I mean, people say, oh, they've lost years, but did you feel like your students were resilient in what they wanted to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even during the hybrid, where you had half of your class at home on a screen and the other half right in front of you. Yeah. We all figured it out together, and I think the kids did great. They just kept on going.
So have you graduated a kindergartner yet to all the way through Chelmsford High yet? Or no,
not yet.
So you're not there yet? So how do you think you're going to feel when that happens?
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so cool. I'm going to definitely want to follow them and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any of your fourth graders gotten through yet? Oh, they have?
Oh yeah, last year they came through the parade through Byam.
Yeah.
They stopped by my room. I was in tears. I couldn't believe it. It was just so overwhelming to see these kids now graduating. And I remember them like it was yesterday.
And do you remember any student, fourth grader, or those kind of things? Did you ever see yourself in some of them and being like?
Definitely, because if a student was feeling stuck or shy, I could put myself in his or her shoes right away, and I was able to tap into just kind of instinctive resources that I had. And I remember this one fourth grader was having a hard time communicating, and so I just took a laptop over to him and I just started typing to him, and he would type back, and that just helped him to start to let me know what was wrong. So absolutely, so many parts of me I see in my students.
So isn't it funny though, because you talked about what Miss Cochran did and Mr. Rondina did, and kind of pulling from that.
Yeah.
So even though you probably didn't realize what they were teaching you as teachers, are there some things that you remember from Chelmsford High teachers that you think that you've kind of brought with you?
Yeah, I know Mrs. Sullivan, I had math, and I've always struggled in math. And Miss Avila, she tutored me. And so I remember Mrs. Sullivan was so patient with me because I tried so hard for a C. And, I would write on my paper for a test, I would write, Elizabeth, I'm gonna get an A, Sexauer. And she encouraged me, and even though I didn't really get an A all the time, I felt safe with her, and she realized that I was trying, and she did her best to help me through it. So I think I take moments like that, and I'm able to be patient and understanding with students who are also struggling like I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you have some great hobbies too,
Yeah.
along with all this teaching, and you've got two young ones at home too.
I do, yep. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And is the 7-year-old in the school system? Or?
She is. She goes to Byam also.
Really?
Yeah. We drive to school together.
Okay. And does she say bye, Mom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Oh yeah.
When you're going to class and she's going to class?
Yep.
How does that feel though, that she's at Byam, and is that?
I feel so grateful that we have this experience together, because I know what she's up to. She sees me. She's my helper in my classroom too.
Oh, she is?
Oh, absolutely. She helps me get set up for the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, she'll come in and she'll help me with my kindergartners to get them where they need to go. So she's kind of in the midst of it as well, just like I was when I was young.
And right, and I was going to get to that. So do you think that she's going to be in the teaching thing? Is she already talking about it?
Yeah.
What about the arts, the music, some of your hobbies? Have that passed down? Or because it seemed like your family's into the arts, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Lucy and I, my daughter, we do love to paint together, and she just started taking piano lessons, which I used to do. So I love to help her with that. And
but does your brother have a bigger influence on that, or no?
Yeah. My brother, he took all the musical genes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yes, he did. Thanks a lot, Matt. No, but we definitely we have fun. We have fun with the piano, and my son Jack, he's quite different. He'll be, I don't know, operating a crane in a dump truck somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you think though the art genes will go to him, or no?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I kind of have a feeling he's just more into the construction right now. He doesn't really like to sit and do crafts and things like my daughter, but we'll see. He's only 4.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, he could change.
Yeah.
So is it different though teaching your kids at home than it is like at the school?
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, I do have a basement full of educational materials, and I try to set things up for them. I love to play school-like things, and I love to do, learning type of activities with my own children. But sometimes they're not into it as much as I am. But it's still fun.
And your husband's in education though too.
He's a sixth grade teacher.
So does that make a difference too?
Oh, sure. I mean, because
but is his teaching different than yours?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would say so in a lot of ways. But I think we both are able to reach our students in ways because we're both kind of the same. We've always been kind of shy or just we're understanding of the needs that so many kids come with. Yeah. So, and then he and I speak the same language at home. We speak the education language.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the whole thing, where would you say? I mean, Miss Deneen had the biggest thing, but like of one or two things that you would say like match from your experience as a student, what matches what you're teaching, like that we're keeping? Because it sounds like we're almost keeping a tradition of Chelmsford teachers. Is there something that you would say that like you feel like, and you've been around the school system as a teacher, but you're there as a student, that you feel like just keeps getting passed down? Because everybody has a great experience at Chelmsford for the most part. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I just don't know if there's something that you guys all talk about, or you know what I mean, that you felt like you got from the teachers and now you're passing on. And you'll pass on to the new teachers coming in. Right.
The first thing that comes to mind is just the excitement and all the different things to be trying and doing. And so, I mean, I'll always remember the smell of South Row and just the butterflies that you get throughout the year and all of the different activities you can try. So I think that that's what I bring to my classroom is just everyday excitement. There's always something to get excited about.
Right. Yeah. And you always felt that when you were in school?
Definitely, I did.
And do you think like your mom had that same excitement as a teacher and those kind of things?
I think so. I remember always seeing her at home prepping art activities, and sometimes I'd have the opportunity to go to her classroom, and she was just totally into it. Yeah.
So it is that passion that teachers are bringing. Yeah. That really brings out the best in our students.
That's right. Yeah, because they receive that energy from you. Yeah. So they feel the excitement as well and the motivation to keep trying.
Right. And to travel to London or wherever you, right? Yeah. Yeah, to get out there and go from there.
That's right.
If there is one thing that you would say that you want to always make sure a kid has at the end of the year, what is it?
I think having the self-confidence, I think that's a huge one, because you see a lot of kiddos who are just afraid to take that step, but once they know they can do it and you've celebrated that with them, then they take that with them.
And I think you do it. Because you brought it all today, so I thank you so much. I mean, I think I could learn from your class. I don't know if the kindergartners would let me there. So, but Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here, and for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for tuning in to Where Are They Now, and I hope you watch our next show. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thanks.